Well, hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Anna Saylor with Every Chiropractic Center. And joining me today is Anthony, and he's going to talk about his business and ways to detox. So, hello, Anthony.
Hi, Dr. Anna. My name is Anthony Bevan. I'm the spa owner and I'm also a certified live blood analyst at Detox Day Spa, which is located in Lake Orion, Michigan, about a mile past the Great Lakes Crossing Mall. So we're not like deep into the heart of Lake Orion. We're right on the border. Dr. Aaron and I were talking before we went live, and I got into this business because of my own health situation. And I think that's a lot of men. I think women tend to be more in tune and in touch with their body than men do. And it's kind of like, you go along until you kind of like have a major crash. And that's what happened to me. In July of 2016, I was diagnosed with HIV. And a month and a half later, my whole body went into inflammation. So my top and bottom eyelids, my ears, my throat, my armpits, my groin, everywhere where I had lymph nodes. And Western medicine, also known as allopathic medicine, they kept telling me, oh, you're fine. It's allergies, it's sinus, because at the time I was living in South Florida. And I kept saying, no, there's something going on in my body. I know my body. It's kind of weird because you and I are in a unique transition period where what we're seeing is the transition, the start of the transition from the managed care health system to the expansion and the rise of the self-care industry, where more people are going to be able to walk into businesses like yours and like mine and say, hey, this is what I need, this is what I need, and this is what I need on a consistent and regular basis after they get an initial consultation. Kind of like you walk into your hairdresser or your barber and you're like, you know your cut, you know your color. Exactly. Okay. So we're seeing that, and the reason why we're seeing that is because there's not enough primary care doctors to be able to even see people. There's too many specialties. And there's going to be a shortage of nurses by the year 2025. They estimate a huge shortage. And they're building all of these facilities, and they're trying to build out to account for that. But if you don't have people to staff these facilities, then these facilities are going to lay empty. What I hear so often from my clients is they come in and they're like, well, I only get, like 10 or 15 minutes with my doctor, if that. And if it's not my doctor, it's the nurse, and I don't even get enough time to be able to.
And that's kind of a lot. It's not 10 or 15, it's like 5-ish.
Yes. Well, yeah. And so, I mean, people probably overestimate. Yeah. But that's what we're seeing, and it's really exciting, and it's a great place to be in, because you can really help to kind of jumpstart people's healing process.
So let's talk about your healing though. So you'd heard what you had, and okay. They didn't give you any options, right? They didn't tell you to detox. They didn't tell you. No. They were telling you to do a chemo pill, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, they were basically like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I don't know. You guys are the doctors. Like, I mean, because that's what you're taught. At the time, I was in the dark, and I was like, I don't know, maybe holistic. And they were like, well, we won't support that. And a lot of doctors won't. It's a hit or a miss. If your doctor supports it, cool. If they don't, you're kind of out of luck. So I was like, okay, that's fine. And they were like, well, you can do chemo pills. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. My body pH is low. I've got 23 T cells, which are your frontline defender and your white blood cell group. And they have to be over 200 to get out of AIDS range. So at the time I was in AIDS range. You can go in and out of AIDS range depending on the number of T cells in your body. Healthy people should have around 1,000 to 1,500 T cells in the body.
And you had 23?
23. Okay. I was sick. I was, I was wiped out. And so I got to do it on my own. That's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to figure it out and do it on my own. So I went online and everything and anything I could find. I read product reviews. And then I did a lot of massage. I did external detox foot baths. I did alkaline water. I did teas. I imported soursop mangosteen, which are extremely high in antioxidants, which your body needs to be able to help fight free radicals. And you're probably thinking, what is a free radical? It is cell debris, bacteria, parasites, and fungus. If you've ever eaten meat in your life, at certain periods, which most Americans have. The American diet is about 80 to 90% meat, and the other 10% is our potatoes or processed vegetables that you get in a can that the nutrients are all gone.
Right.
People don't realize that by the time you cook or apply heat to a fruit or a vegetable, and at over 70 or 80 degrees, it's gone. All the nutritional value out of it is gone. And so, you know, I figured it out, and then, you know, I came back to Metro Detroit, and I really felt like it was a calling for me to kind of take what I learned and put it into a protocol. And that's what I did. And I created Detox Day Spa. So everything that I learned, I was like, I have to figure out what happened to me, and then put it into a protocol. There's got to be other people out here like me. So I put everything I started with my external detox protocol, and it starts with a machine reflexology foot massage. I also have foot massagers for plantar fasciitis and neuropathy. Okay. So open that circulation up in the feet. Opening circulation up is the key to reducing inflammation. Inflammation is the precursor to infection, and the longer infection sits in the body, it will turn to chronic illness or cancer, one of the two.
You have two options, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So then we get into an ionic detox foot bath. Okay. So that releases charged ions into the water, which are absorbed by the feet, force and release of heavy metals, fats, acids, and oils, basically helping to clear the lymphatic system. Okay. Most people, unless there's neuropathy in the feet, and sometimes that can take 2 or 3 sessions, will feel tingling on the feet, and then when they're done, it feels like a really deep cleansing of the feet. And toxins are like sediment; they fall at the bottom of the feet.
And you see, like, I'm thinking this, but you see like the water get black as you're doing it.
Yeah,
right?
Well, everybody's water tends to be different,
okay.
But yeah, I mean, I have a color chart so people can kind of correlate the two. But yeah, and then after that, I have a hydro massage, which a lot of people have probably seen in the Planet Fitnesses. Yeah. That opens circulation of full body. So applying high pressure and heat together to open circulation up, it moves along the spine. And then when people get off, they're like, wow, I feel really loose. Then they get into infrared sauna, okay. And they sweat out. It opens up the metabolic process. A lot of times people get out of the sauna and they smell. Well, it's a heavy secretion sweat. Okay. So, I mean, they're going to stink. You want to stink when you get out of the sauna. You want your arm, you want your armpits to smell because, you know, the toxins are coming up. Most people are wearing deodorant, and this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so I'll just do a little plug here that there's aluminums in deodorant. And so that is probably, I would say, probably about 70-80%. 80% the cause of breast cancer is because the lymph nodes are clogged from all of the aluminum.
And ladies, where do you put deodorant? Right here. And where is most your chains are right here. Mm-hmm. So if you're putting aluminum deodorant into a place that is going to be full of lymph nodes to detox your body, you're really toxic.
Mm-hmm. And then when they go through and they go to the cancer doctor and like, oh, we got to take your lymph nodes out. Well, what's going to clear that? It's clearing out the toxins. So you're taking out the mechanism to clear the toxins. So of course you're going to get breast cancer again. So that's how that works. So and then people leave with a 2.5 gallon of alkaline water. This is different than the Essential you might see in the store, or the Core, or the Fiji, which are
very different.
Yeah, well, it's ionized for 3 days, so it's a super hydration and flushing effect. Okay. So they finish that water in 3 days. Clearing the system out. The only way you're getting toxins out of the body are sweat, urination, bowel movement, and vomit. And sometimes people get out of my sauna and they vomit. What people don't realize is that meat, dairy, and sugar all combine to create a mucus film in the body, which that's where the parasites, fungus, and bacteria live. Okay. So when people go through my program, they're like, well, is it normal to have a lot of mucus in the bowel movement? Is it normal to hack it up? Is it normal to use a lot of tissue and then there'd be a lot of mucus? I'm like, yeah, you don't want the mucus in the body. That's where they're living. So people go through that and then they learn. So what I try to do is jumpstart people. So I try and tell people, like, hey, you're on the expressway and your car broke down. Car still works. You just need to jump, right? So what took me, like several months to learn and perfect, I help people learn in 35 days. So I have what are called these 35-day detox programs. And I start with a live blood analysis. It's a diabetes prick on the finger. and I take that small drop of blood and I put it on a slide and under a microscope. And together, you and I, and you've never had this type of blood work done.
It's totally different.
It's totally different.
Like
Yeah.
CDC,
No.
Chem 20 snack.
No.
It is.
And so you see your blood live on a computer screen.
Okay.
So and then I help, and I go through and I'll make an assessment for you. So I'll see how well you're digesting proteins, fats, and sugars. And I can tell you right now, nobody is. Unless you're like me or like you, where we know kind of what's going on, and we know we have to have enzymes in our diet, because once we hit our 30s, 40s, and 50s, we lose a lot of our enzyme functionality. Enzymes are what are going to help, and this is what is missing from a lot of these supplements out here, proprietary enzyme blends. Okay. So people are just out here taking all this stuff and like, well, my doctor said to get this from Walmart or from Target. Well, guess what? It's trash. Most of the supplements on the market are 30 to 40% synthetic level fill. And then the other supplements on the market, there's heat applied during the production and processing, which destroys the enzymes, the nutrients, making them ineffective. So people come in and for these 35 days, and again, we start with the live blood analysis, and we see how well they're digesting the proteins, the fats, the sugars. I can see if there's uric acid, toxic bowel crystals. Those things are going to cause inflammation in the body, and they tend to sit in the joints.
So knee, shoulder, people come in and say my elbows hurt all the time.
Correct.
Okay.
So, and I have topicals for that. I have magnesium lotion, which is actually better for the bones than calcium. People don't know that. So, but it's a lot of misinformation out here. So as people are coming through my program, or they maybe go through a program with you, like they become educated, and then they help to. And the reason why I want people to become educated is because they can educate their friends and family. So magnesium lotion, frankincense is actually an anti-inflammatory, which is fantastic. And you obviously have to cut it with a carrier oil. I use coconut oil, or I'll just get it. I love doTERRA.
Okay, that's what we use too.
Yeah.
So and frankincense is king of oil.
Exactly. I use frankincense a lot as an anti-inflammatory, and I have something called silver gel, which is really good. And it's really effective. So usually I'll combo all three of those into a topical for people. Like I said, people come in and they have inflammation, whether they feel it or not. Most men that come in, they're just not in touch with their bodies. I have around 500 clients. Most of them are women, and they're really in touch with their body. So they know, they're like, I can feel this is off. I can feel I'm having some hormonal issues. And then we'll kind of go through everything. So after I look at the uric acid to see if there's a presence of uric acid or toxic bowel crystals, which most of the time there is uric acid. And that's going to come from the overconsumption of meat, pork, red meat. That's where that's coming from. And then I'm going to look to see if there's the presence of bacteria, fungus, or parasites.
You said most people have parasites.
Yeah, and that's not even me. That's status from the CDC.
Okay.
So the Centers for Disease Control in this country. And you go on all these websites too, and you'll find it. It's not easily accessible, but the American Cancer Society, the CDC, there's even studies published on the National Institutes for Health that link parasites to cancer. Because they're eating what you're putting in your body, and then they start eating you. I'm serious.
It's just like puke in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
serious. That's exactly what's happening. Is that and you hear these, and there's a lot of like medical Anthony Williams, medical medium, which I take him sometimes with a grain of salt because he's got a lot of great information out there. But when he's sitting there and telling, and I was just talking to somebody that a colleague, and I'm like he's sitting there telling people like he's hearing these voices. No, you went on Google just like everybody else did, and you did research, and now you put some books together, and really the easiest thing you can do. Everything is available at your fingertips on Google. And then you have other diets like Plant Paradox and a lot of people out here talking about juicing. Well, guess what? You can juice all day, every day, but you're never going to absorb it unless you get rid of the parasites, fungus, and bacteria. Candida is the worst. Parasites are the worst. They go through life cycles, and Candida creates colonies. Okay. A lot of times people don't realize they go to these specific chiropractors who, I'm not going to name any names, but there's a lot of them out here who are like, I just specialized in the thyroid. Well, then if you specialize in thyroid, then you would know a lot about Candida. Because if you have an overgrowth of Candida, it's impacting the thyroid.
Yeah, I specialize in the spine.
Yeah. So that's exactly, that's it. I mean, I wish chiropractors would just be like, okay, this is what I specialize in. I specialize in detox. So that's all I do is you know, like you come in and we want to detox the body. I just know what areas to detox because the blood will, the blood
you're
tells the
getting
story.
exactly what they need. You're getting, you're not guessing. You're not like someone comes in for weight loss. We talked about this. Someone's coming in like, I want to lose weight. And your comment was about?
I'm like, look, you know, like we got to get rid of the inflammation. That's why you're holding on to weight. We got to get rid of the candida. We got to get rid of the parasites. We got to get rid of the fungus, because once we get rid of those things, then you're going to drop weight naturally. So I don't even talk about weight loss when women come into me, even though sometimes they, unless it's a severe situation, like I had somebody from Dr. Joel Kahn, and she was like, look, he said, I know I need to get off medications, and he said I need to lose 30 pounds to get off medications. Well, on her own, she lost 10 pounds, came to me, and she lost 12.4. She would have lost more. She would, because it's 2 weeks of being vegan, and then the last 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks of being vegan. The last 2.5 weeks, it's you can incorporate 8-ounce pieces of fish twice a week. Well, she took that as fried fish. So that's why she probably would have lost 17 or 18 pounds. She probably would have met her goal. And then she finished her program, and she was really happy. But I've also had people finish my program, and I just had somebody on Saturday finish my program, and she's down 22.6 pounds.
And that was in a month?
That was in 35 days.
Oh, nice. All right.
So that's what happens. A lot of times people come in and they're like, I want to lose weight. I want to do this. And then I help them understand that we get rid of the inflammation. We get rid of get a good, good start on getting rid of candida and parasites, because most people, it's so bad because they don't even know what it was. And then doctors are telling them, oh, you're fine. It's fine. I have clients who come into me in Western medicine, or allopathic doctors, or traditional doctors, have told them that it's okay to poop every 3 or 4 days. That is not true. Ladies, you need to be pooping every day, if not twice a day.
Listen to
a bowel movement in the morning and a bowel movement at night. So if you're not pooping, you're not healthy. You're all those toxins are sitting there in your intestinal tract. 80% of the immunity is in the gut. Mm-hmm. So if you can clear the gut, and that's the second brain in the body. So if you, and that interacts with the brain here. So if we can clear all those things, then you're going to feel better in a short period of time. So people as they go through my program, like 2 weeks in, they're like, wow, I just don't understand all these great results that I'm feeling, all these great results that I'm having, because they think that it takes months to be able to get some results. Not in reality. And a lot of you have to be careful, because I get a lot of people who are like, well, I've been going to so and so for X amount of years, and I've just had slight improvements. Unfortunately, there's good and there's bad practitioners out here. Practitioners who are not going to tell you the truth because they look at you as a client who is going to, help sustain their business. I look at it as somebody who comes in as a client as, I want them to get better. I want them to become a brand ambassador, to become knowledgeable, their own health expert, and then tell a family and friend, and then they send people in, and that's how my business grows. Right. They would realize that. I wish they would realize that if that's the business approach that you take, or that's the business model that you have, your business is going to grow by tenfold, because you're helping actually to do what you're out there promoting on social media and in print media and on radio shows and Facebook Lives and things like that.
Now you're just coming up on your 1-year anniversary, right?
I am. Yay. So I'm actually running a contest. Okay. So there's somebody, and I've had several submissions, but the contest runs until the 19th.
Of October.
Okay. So it's this month. So it's next Friday.
Okay.
Is when the contest closes, and the contest is www.detoxdayspa.com/anniversary contest. That's detoxdayspa.com/anniversary contest. Okay. And there's somebody out there in need who is so sick that they've had to quit their job, or maybe they haven't been able to work in quite some time and they're on a fixed income. I'm going to give away one program, and they'll come in for a live blood analysis, and then we're going to get them to a better place where they can start to function on a better level, because a lot of times people come to me when they're in really severe situations. It was hard for them to even come into my spa. Okay. So I want to at least help them to get out of bed and get some movement. It's important to have movement throughout the day. You can't just lay around. That's never good. You got to get the circulation going. Right. So I encourage anybody who knows somebody who's in a really bad, dire financial situation, have them apply. Go on my website. You can go on my Facebook page. The contest is on the page as well. I'm on Instagram. I've got information about it on the Instagram. So if you go to the Instagram, you click on the link in the bio and it takes them to where they can submit. So they enter their first name, their last name, their phone number, and a little bit of information about their situation. And then, of course, I am asking people to verify their financial need. Because, I mean, everybody has seen it. Unfortunately, there's people out here who scam, and I really want to be able to help somebody. So these are expensive programs. My programs range about $500 to $600 in a 35-day period. But
let's back up. So that's not really expensive when you think about getting your health back.
Right.
For you to be able to give like, for me, health is the most important thing. You know, like, and I know for you it was the most important thing. So when we start looking at people, and our job is to change your mindset. Our job is to educate you on how important your health is. Because I always say, it's like, okay, if the car you're driving today, right now, the car you got to work in today was the last car you were going to be able to drive for the rest of your life, would you take better care of it? Would you clean it more, put better gas in it, really avoid accidents? And people spend more money and time thinking about the car they're driving than the body they're living in. Because this is it. This is all we got. And if you don't take care of it now, it's not going to get better. We're in a really sick, energetic society. We talk about it all the time in our practice, and you see it all the time. Like you were, like they were basically like, okay, good luck.
Yeah, it's like I was telling you, it's like a one-night stand. Like they're like, okay, have a nice day.
Yeah.
Like and then and then they leave you, and then you're stuck in a position of like, how do I reset and rebuild? I have a lot of clients who come to me after cancer or during cancer. Some doctors are progressive. I even have doctors who I've never even met who are referred to me because they've had patients come to me as clients and have great results. And I have people who have come to me with A1Cs of 6.2 and pull them down to 4.8, 5.8, pull it down to a 5.4.
Well, talk about normals for that, because a lot of people don't know what that means.
Yeah, so A1C is going to relate to diabetes. So normal levels, you want to be right around a 4.5, 4.8. Once you get into the 5s, 6s, the 7s, the 8s, and I've even had people who are like in the 12s. And those are really bad levels. And that's all because, number one, they're not digesting the food. It's floating around. That's how it's being detected. Fat, proteins, fats, and sugars. They come in and they don't even know that they're as bad as they are, right? And when people I have men who, by the way, men lose weight a lot quicker than women. I know it's crazy. It's crazy, but I have men who come in and they do these programs, and I had a gentleman, and his name's Chris, and he came to me and he's like, look, he's like, my A1C is really high, and I want to come in there and just get ahead of the curve. And in 1 week, he lost 13.4 pounds. On average, women, depending on what their situation is, and this is without a weight loss enzyme, they are losing between 3 and 7 pounds a week. And it's just getting toxic crap out of the gut and getting rid of the bloat. And there's a lot of women who are living with bloat, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so uncomfortable. It hurts. I don't like to eat. I don't like to drink because I get even more bloated. Well, the bloat disappears once you start to clear the gut and the intestinal tract. So the programs are really not that expensive. And you go to, and I have a lot. I mean, I have about 3 or 4 competitors out there, and you're looking at around $2,000 for about a month. And this is why I did this, is because I want to create change. Like, a lot of these, I do everything myself. And the reason why I can keep the cost of the program so low is because I'm not trying to bring on a bunch of staff. I'm trying to get people in and out in 35 days. You know what I'm saying? And then come and then tell a friend and send somebody else in, and that's what they do. When you have these facilities that have really, really large staffs, and they have 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 different locations. That's overhead. It's overhead. That's what you're paying for. And they know the cost of the supplements, and I know and you know the cost of supplements. So when when somebody's coming in and they're paying, $50, $60, $70 for 1 bottle of supplements, it's way too much. So ideally, you should be looking at between $20 and $30 for about a quality supplements.
And that's the difference.
And that's the difference.
Because you can pay $5 for a really, really poor supplement that's not even, you might as well throw it in the trash.
Exactly. And like you said, the quality ones are and unfortunately, it's going to be $20 or $30.
Yeah.
They should be cold pressed, 100% whole food, plant-based, organic supplements with proprietary enzyme blends. If supplements don't have enzyme blends, friends on Facebook, then you're not going to absorb them. Enzymes are what are going to help you absorb absorb the nutrients and the minerals and all that from the supplements that are in them. I have a lot of companies that will send me stuff to try, and then like, hey, just try this and let us know what you think, and then I'll try it, and I'm like, it didn't do anything for me. I'm like, well, what do you think it was? And I'm like, well, because there's no enzyme blend in there. I didn't absorb anything. So you need those enzymes to be able to absorb. You don't have any enzymes, you're never going to absorb. And again, as we hit our 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, we lose a lot of our enzyme functionality. So it needs to be supplemented back into the body. Not just supplements alone. You can take supplements all day, every day. You have to be able to absorb them. Right. And then a lot of what you do too, from a chiropractic level is, once I detox somebody's body, they have to be realigned because everything connects to the spine. So once you detox, and I've worked with, a few chiropractors on, protocols for, some patients that they work with and then clients that I work with. And then they come in and they're not able to hold, right? So every week they need a realignment. Well, they come in and they detox, and then I've had clients who didn't need to be realigned for 2-3 months, right? Because they've detoxed, and then everything again connects to the spine.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we talk about in our practice, the 3 T's: trauma, thoughts, and toxins. And thoughts and toxins are huge. And if you are sick inside, you're going to be sick outside too. So talk to us a little bit more. We only have a couple more minutes about the cancer protocols too.
Okay, so people come in and they got low T cells, or they come in and they I can feel the chemo in my body, or I can feel the radiation in my body. Can you help me? Yes, I help them. So it just depends on what type of cancer situation they came to me with. I have the 2 clients that come to mind right now, because they're with me every week after they go for a traditional cancer treatment. One has stage 4 lung cancer. And it was reoccurring, and it was only getting worse. And she ended up getting a it was almost like a tumor that started to bleed on one part of her lung. And then we did topical for it. I did Manuka essential oil, which is really powerful. You may have heard of Manuka honey, and that is actually a type of honey that you want to be putting in your teas and things like that. It's an antibacterial. So I did Manuka honey, and then I did magnesium lotion, and then silver gel. And it's now closed up, and it's shrinking, and it's healing. All of her cancer markers are going down. The doctor is like this, because the doctor is actually, he said to her, he's like, go ahead. He's like, let's marry the two. He's like, we tried everything else up until this point. He was like, so let's go for it. And it's McLaren Health System, sorry. Beaumont's actually really good about it too. I'm not going to name any names, but there's some of them out there who won't. They won't, and I went through it with my grandma. I have another client who has she has a cancer of the blood, and which is affecting her B cells. Which are another defender in the white blood cell group. And she gets abscesses a lot. Okay. And they have to be drained. Well, because she's got cancer, usually when they drain it, it takes about 1 month for that to heal. Well, since she's been using my topical, which she's doing magnesium lotion and she's doing the silver gel, it healed in 5 days. And she went back to the doctor, and the doctor's like, oh my God. She was like, this is amazing. She's like, I love the fact that you're marrying now the two, but what I'm doing, and then you're going and using holistic. And this woman actually works in, she worked for U of M Health System. And it's fantastic because she's like, I didn't know the results I was going to get. She was like, but I feel better. She was like, I'm not bloated anymore. Again, we're starting to clear this here, and then we have the topicals, which can almost provide immediate relief with regard to inflammation. I've also had people come to me not with cancer, but after, like I said, I get a lot of after surgeries, and I had one gentleman come in, he had a huge just mass right there. And as soon as he walked in, I said, oh, that needs to be lanced and it needs to be cleaned out with peroxide and some other things. And he was like, no, my doctor said it's just scar tissue. And a lot of times, this is the first response from a doctor, is that it's scar tissue. Let me go in and operate on you again, because they make a lot of money off surgeries. So I said to him, I was like, well, just put this silver gel on it. This silver gel is $25, and I said, just put it on every day. Well, he did, and then it kind of peaked at the surface, and then his mom, who was also a holistic health practitioner, lanced it, and she squeezed out. She was like, there was so much crap that came out of there, and she cleaned it out, and then it went away. So people don't realize that, that the doctors don't even know what's happening, because they don't know anything about parasites, fungus, or bacteria. I also have a client right now who she's in her early 20s, and her mom is foreign, and I have a few clients who are foreign, and they tell me that it's national public service to get your stool tested, to get tested for parasites, fungus, bacteria in these other countries, not here.
We don't even talk about it.
We don't even talk about it. So she went and got her daughter tested, and out of the country, took her out of the country. She spent upwards of $10,000 on care for her daughter and testing and all that. Comes to my spot, and by the way, the anti-parasitic and antifungal protocol is about $250, $300, okay. And it's 1 month. And came in, and she was very skeptical. She's like, "You're not a doctor," and I'm not. I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm a certified live load analyst. I'm a detox specialist. That's all I do. Awesome. And so she came in, and she's like, "Well, let's try this protocol." And she brought all the tests, and I looked at them, and I'm like, well, I mean, that your daughter has parasites, fungus, and bacteria. I mean, it's all right here from the testing that you brought in from outside of the country. Took it back to a regular doctor, and the doctor's like, well, I don't know what to do with this. I don't even know where to start with this. And so she's been on this, and then she called me the other day, and she's like, my daughter has been having bowel with a lot of mucus. She's been coughing it up. She's been hacking it up. She's been vomiting white foam, which is candida. And also white flecks in the bowel, which is die-off. And she's like, but she's gaining weight again. She has energy. She was like, thank you so much. She was like, I got to be honest, I was skeptical about you. And she was like, and you're this young kid talking about all these things. She was like, I thought there's no way that you would have been able to figure this out. She was like, out of all the doctors, out of all the tests, she was like, you were the only one who figured this out. And that's what happens, is that now she's better informed, better equipped, the mother and the daughter. But these doctors, they don't know anything about, on a cellular level, the only things that we deal with are bacteria, parasites, and fungus. And unfortunately, and I know this because I was head of digital marketing for a biotech company, we create products around symptoms. That's what happens, is that, ADHD, well, guess what that is? Heavy metals in the brain. Or breast cancer, guess what that is? Heavy metals in the lymph nodes that are clogging the lymph nodes up. If you just start to think about this logically and start to put the pieces together, you're going to figure this out for yourself, just like I did, and you have, and all the other holistic practitioners out here and their client bases. And that's what's happening. That's the movement that I said that we're seeing, the transition from the managed care to the self-care industry, because people are becoming better informed, as they should. And just overall, like able to kind of guide their own health situation, where, like I said, you can walk into a hair salon or a gym, and you know what equipment you use, and you know what your cut and your color is. Same thing that after initial assessment with you or I, or another holistic health practitioner, they know what enzymes they need. They're like, okay, I'm going on a wine trip to Napa. I need my fat and sugars. So they take one before and they take one after to neutralize the impact. Or I'm going to a wedding, I'm going to have some cake and I'm going to have some ice cream. So they're going to take one before and they're going to take one after. They know they need digestive enzymes all the time to be able to help them digest anything they're putting in their body.
Nice. All right.
So that's that.
I think we're actually almost out of time. So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
We met on a Facebook Live. So, our belief, both of us, is knowledge is power. So feel free to reach out to either of us, ask questions. I mean, like he said, he is the detox specialist. And so if you have a question about detox, go to him. And I will have the information, the content in the comments too. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Why don't you tell everybody where you're at again one more time?
Sure. I am located by the Great Lakes Crossing Mall in Lake Orion, Michigan, so I'm about a mile past the mall. And believe it or not, I'm right next to a big Little Caesars, kind of a weird dichotomy right there. But I actually get a lot of people who walk in while they're waiting for pizzas.
Okay,
yeah, so
interesting.
right, nice dichotomy. But maybe you can post the link to the contest.
Yep.
And cool. So the link will also be posted in the comments for again, a future client in need. Somebody needs a program. They're in a really dire health situation and a dire financial situation. I want to help them. So if you know somebody or you are somebody, make sure you apply for this giveaway, and it ends next Friday at midnight.
Yeah, and if you want more information too, please reach out, because like I cannot say or stress enough, we are toxic. We're a toxic society filled with toxins. So there is hope and there's a place to go. So thank you once again. I'm Dr. Saylor with Every Family Chiropractic Center, and I will see you soon. Bye, everyone.